I want to have a conversation with you that might actually change how you see the world. Everything in the world. If you've been in this corner of the internet for a while, you know I'm obsessed with helping people understand why we react the way that we do. Not just in our relationships, but in our bodies, in our thoughts, and in the way that we see the world. I want to start this new chapter over here on YouTube with something foundational, something that sits underneath every argument, every misunderstanding, and every, I don't know why I do that spiral, and that's perception. So we're gonna have a practice of some exposure therapy. If you're not in a place where you can give this your full attention, save this video and come back, because I want you to be very intentional with watching this. And if you're choosing to do and bypass what I said anyways, then just know this, okay? Exposure therapy activated. I am going to place some words. We're gonna try something, okay? Exposure therapy live. I'm going to flash a few words on the screen, and I don't want you to think. Just notice what happens in your body. We are activating data collector role. We are data collectors. Are you ready? Father. Forgiveness. Discipline. Palestine. Compassion. Abortion. Trump. God. Feminism. Vaccine. Did something shift? Did something tighten? A pullback or even a pause? Sit in that experience in the body for a minute. What is the mind trying to tell you? This wasn't about the word. This was about you. We have to understand that's not judgment, it's data. Something happened in your body first when you heard those words and you saw the word on the screen. Then your mind created an entire story around it. That right there is the foundation of perception. So are you ready to get into it? Now here's what's wild. Most of us think that emotions are reactions to what's happening, but neuroscience shows that emotions are actually predictions. Your brain is trying to guess what's about to happen. Based on what? The familiar past. Lisa Barrett, she describes this process as the brain using memory and context to fill in what we're feeling and what we're seeing. It's sort of like predictive text. You know how that little word shows up before you've even finished? But instead of finishing your sentence, your brain finishes your reality. And since the nervous system is relational, so is perception. Our mirror neurons, they synchronize with the people around us. What does that mean exactly? It means our bodies co-regulate and co-react depending on the state of those that are near us, which is those undercurrents of energies that I was always talking about. We can pick that up from other people, as well as they picking it up from us. Trauma literally teaches our bodies what to expect, not what's true. So if you were raised in chaos, calm might feel suspicious for you. So for some of my clients, I'll draw 3 boats. One of those boats will be on chaos waves. The other one is on waves that are like this, and the other one is on flat water like a lake. For those of us born in the chaos waves, when we're on the lake, that calm water feels like a threat to us. And sometimes what ends up happening is we are so suspicious of what could be down there to come and get us. We're anticipating future threat. We end up rocking our own boat, our own kayak, and we create our own waves, and sometimes we even fall in. Examples of emotional self-sabotage and emotional self-harm. Now, if you were raised in neglect, attention might feel dangerous. If you were raised in scarcity, abundance may feel very overwhelming. I want you to hear that last part again. Some of you have broke mindset, and that's actually hindering any abundance trying to come to you, because some of us have been so guilted that we don't want to get or be successful or have the abundance because we see how people talk about those people. And I don't want to be that if that's how you're going to talk about those people. So listen, watch that part again. So let's understand where this perception blueprint begins. In our families. Bowen's family systems theory shows that we take on roles. Scapegoat, golden child, the peacemaker. Those roles aren't random. They're survival strategies that we've adopted, and they shape how we perceive safety. But not just safety. It shapes how we perceive danger, how we perceive love, how we see and perceive belonging in adulthood. Reinforcement matters. If crying got you punished, you learned that emotions are dangerous. And if achievement got you love, you learned your worth is conditional. That's why I always tell my parents, just because you have that overachiever child in the house doesn't mean you can't forget about them. Sometimes it's the kid we don't have to worry about. That's the one you need to worry about. And the nuance here is that doesn't mean don't worry about the loudest one. The nuance means you had multiple kids. This is what comes with the territory. You also have to understand that if you grew up in an environment where staying small is what kept the peace, now you've learned that visibility equates risk. This is something in my life I'm personally struggling with in my imprints, because being on y'all's phone is exposure therapy for me. My inner child does not like to be seen. So that's why I tell y'all, don't think that I'm not in class with you. This has been a part of my journey too, and I've learned a lot through this work. We're in this all together. We also have to understand that all of these internalized rules and internalized roles, they don't just disappear. They become that invisible script, that unconscious contract, y'all, that we end up projecting onto our partners, onto our friends, into the workplace. Now we're doing it to strangers online. Here's a classic example that I see a lot. A woman with betrayal trauma meets a loyal, healthy partner. But the moment something in her body feels off, the nervous system screams danger. She's not responding to him, she's responding to the past. Now, that scenario looks different for everyone. That's why I say you guys can't be comparing what people consider an argument, a fight, people's perception, an argument, right? What I consider an argument and what you consider an argument are going to be very different. What you consider a fight and what I consider a fight are going to be very different. Notice how those are two different words, and the perception of both is different. For you, for me, for the cat down the road, for Archie, for Charles. It's different. That right there alone is how perception creates gridlock in relationships. And so sometimes when I'm doing family systems work and there's like a shift in the family, like everyone's nervous system's gone on fire and it's conflict. I'm like, whoa, are we in a conflict right now? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, how, where, when did it happen? Because I'm the outsider. My nervous system's not cued into their blueprint. So when I'm seeing that they respond to this, like it's like a bobby pin worth of like an explosion, and their nervous systems think that rocked their world. That was the very thing their nervous systems were afraid of experiencing doing family therapy work. But those sessions are the good work because you exposed your nervous system to the actual threat, the dinosaur, in the mediated environment. So now the therapist, me in this case, got to see this is what's creating the friction. Wow. Not because of shame, judgment, harm, none of that, but because perception. Because when they realized from my end, it wasn't that, it was like one of those like, okay, oh my God, here goes the rocket. Ah! That's sometimes what people perceive the conflict to be. And then when I'm there and I'm like, wait, where did the problem start? And then they're like, wow, they see how much their nervous system exacerbates what they're actually perceiving is true. Now, let's zoom out a bit, okay? I want us to zoom out of the family microcosm and let's go to the macro level, society. If trauma is shaping perception at home, culture and technology, they're shaping it everywhere. Now, here's how. Because your brain is wired for negativity bias, which is a survival mechanism that prioritizes threat detection over neutral or positive stimuli. So social media algorithms, they were designed for this dynamic. They already know this. They weaponize that very bias to keep you scrolling, which is why I tell all of my clients that your attention is precious. So for those of you that are a part of this corner, I thank you and I'm very grateful, because to have your attention is sacred to me. I don't take that lightly, which is why you shouldn't be taking it lightly with what you choose to give your attention. Insert Alan Watts, selective attention. If you think about it over time, this repeated exposure literally rewires your predictive models, right? But it also rewires your nervous system, because if you had a baseline that was under 5, let's say you were hanging out over here and you were like maybe 3 and under rest and digest, but every time you open your algorithm, it's learned what upsets you every morning, every night, spike, 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 spike. Eventually your baseline raises. Now you're at an 8. Now you're so easy for you to pop off because you have conditioned your nervous system and now the baseline has increased. That whole process strengthens the neural pathways, which are associated with that outrage. It's associated with the confirmation bias and the black and white thinking loops that all of y'all are stuck in. It causes us to stop thinking, is this true? And start asking, does this feel familiar? This is why many of us can scroll for 15 minutes and walk away pissed and angry, more anxious, and more certain that you are right, even if you're not. Now, here's the part that most people are not talking about. We have to understand that perception is not just a way that we filter through our worldview. It's not just the filtration system, okay? It's often a strategy, one that can keep you safe, or at least tries to. But even if that safeness keeps you stuck, you might push away love before it can leave you. If you always expect abandonment, you might sabotage closeness just to prove that you were right and confirm your own bias. And for those of us aunties of all cultures, I'm talking to you. If you always expect struggle, ease is going to feel suspicious for you. This is why many people self-sabotage when things are going right or even well. We have to understand that it's not our body betraying us. It's trying to protect us from what it thinks is danger. But here's the good news, neuroplasticity. It means that this isn't permanent. Where attention goes, where attention goes, neural firing flows. And what we're focusing on repeatedly becomes our new default. That's why when a lot of you try to tell me about what it should be, or that therapy is political, I'm like, in your world, damn, don't make me a part of that damn chaos in your world. We don't live in the same realities, y'all. So let's talk about this. How do we start seeing clearly and start cleaning our window? Let me tell you a little story real quick. Can I go on a little rant? This is something that I share with my clients. I don't remember where I heard this from, but I'm going to try to make it quick. There was an old couple, and every morning the wife goes to the kitchen, and maybe you guys might know this, okay? But she complains about the neighbors. Oh, they're filthy. They don't clean their front yard. Oh, they're all the things. Every morning she's complaining about the neighbors. It's like clockwork. The husband already knows it's a routine. One day she shows up to the sink where she's in the kitchen and she's like, babe, look, they've got a beautiful garden. It's so clean. Oh my God, they tidied it up. The husband's like, yeah, I cleaned the window. You see that? Do you see it? Okay, anyways. Perception is about cleaning our window. That's our job. And a lot of y'all are trying to outsource that to everybody else to work around the muck that is all up on y'all's window. And some of you guys got a lot of shit on your window, straight up. So let's talk about how do we start to see clearly? Well, the first thing we have to do is clarify language, asking, what do you mean by that? Or you could say, what do you mean when you say fight? So we can understand if we're talking about, or the perception in our mind of what that word means. Let's make sure we're on the same page. Because a lot of times when I talk about the ego with clients, some of them might get offended if they think that I think they're egotistical. No, ego is inferior, superior. It can be both. But had I not clarified that, they would have internalized a whole narrative in their mind that was completely wrong. Because words carry different meanings for different nervous systems. We all don't have the same nervous system. Now the second part is to clarify perception. To clarify perception, ask, what did that moment feel like in your body? What story did you make about what happened? A lot of us have to understand when we're on the receiving end of hearing these stories, we could be hearing a very dramatized edition. Number 3, let's clarify intention. You can say something along the lines of, I know what I meant, but I want to make sure you understand how that landed, or you understand my intention. That's a fantastic way to ask, like, okay, what did you hear? Especially for couples, you could do this with your partner. We have to understand that all of us are walking around with a little bit of cracks in our lens, in our glass, in our window, and whatever you want to call it, in our filtration. A lot of us are drinking from an old ass Brita filter, and we need to change that. And that dirty filter is what's infiltrating our perception. A lot of us are still walking around with maps that were drawn from our childhood, by our trauma, by our algorithms, and by the culture that profits from all of y'all's reactivity. So here's my invitation. Start collecting data. Start asking, where did I learn to feel this? Is it true, or is it just familiar? We have to understand perception isn't reality, it's just a lens, and a lens that you can clean. And once you clean that lens, you start to see others differently, but it's not just that. You start to see yourself differently too. If this video stirred something in you, I wrote a whole Substack essay that you can find in the link down below. It feels so weird to say that. Ew. So cringe. In that article, you'll find the research. I'll provide you some reflection prompts and teach you how to practice perceptual hygiene. I hope that you read it, and I hope that you see the world just a little bit more clearly when you do.